Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. So in this class we are going to begin with the third chapter of class 9th alternative English, which is the indomitable spirit of youth. Now this chapter is written by none other than the very honorable APJ Abdul Kalam, also known as the Missile Man of India. We all know that he is an idol for every single youth. Each one of us wishes to be like him. Each one of us has this dream to have the same vision, to have the same ideologies, the way he had, APJ Abdul Kalam sir had. And this chapter that we are going to read is basically his opinions about how he felt that the spirit of the youth is indomitable in nature. Now, what do we mean by indomitable? Indomitable means something that cannot be defeated, something that cannot be subdued. According to Sir APJ Abdul Kalam, the youth of a country are those who have the power to change the entire world. According to him, the spirit of the youth is such that it cannot be defeated by anyone at all. And through this chapter, he is going to share with us how and why he feels that the youth of a country have that capability and can actually work wonders for every country. So this chapter is basically the very, precious, and I would say the opinions of APJ Abdul Kalam sir, which needs to be valued by each one of us, which is a very big learning for each one of us. And there is something that he is trying to convey to us through his words. So let us read this chapter and try to make out what he wishes to teach us. But before that, so Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who passed away in the year 2015, he was the 11th President of India. He was a distinguished scientist and an eminent thinker. Distinguished, somebody who is different from the others, somebody who's known for how different and how special and how unique they are. And he was an eminent thinker. Apart from being a scientist, the way he thought, the way he perceived things, the way his ideas were born was actually fabulous. So Kalam was an aerospace engineer and administrator with ISRO and DRDO. He was often known as as I told you, the Missile Man of India. Kalam contributed greatly in developing the ballistic missiles, including the Agni. So we all know that he was the creator of all the missiles and also Agni. In his book, India 2020, Dr. Kalam advocates his plans to develop India as a first world nation by 2020. So this is what Abdul Kalam sir wanted for the country. He received several awards, including the Bharat Ratna, which is the highest civilian honor which is given to anyone. Dr. Kalam is also known for his motivational speeches and his enthusiastic interaction with the youth of a country. Whenever he would talk to the youth or whenever he would talk about the youth, his enthusiasm, his energy, his zeal was beyond imagination. The indomitable spirit of youth is an adaptation of his speech to the Indian school students during a 2013 visit to the Gulf nations. So he had visited the Gulf nations in the year 2013 and there he addressed the Indian students. So let us read what he had told the Indian students at that time. Okay. So he began his speech by greeting everybody. He said, "My greetings to all." Now, the first part, when we are going to read his speech is divided into multiple portions, and every part is given a subhead. Now, the first part that we are going to read is wings to fly. So, in this part that we'll be reading, he talks about the wings that everybody has, and one should discover their wings that will take them a long way in life. So, he said, "Dear young friends, I am sure every one of you has made up your mind on what you want to achieve in the future. And I'm sure each one of you will definitely achieve that goal." So you see what kind of a positive personality he was. He addressed all the school children as "my dear young friends." And he also said that "I know that every one of you must have decided what you want to become when you grow up. And he also assured them that "I am sure you all will achieve those dreams." But how does one work towards achievement? Are there any steps to follow? So he asked the people, he asked the young Indian students whom he was addressing when he went to the Gulf nations. He asked them that, how do we work towards achievements? What is it that we should do when we want to achieve something in life? Is there anything specific? Are there any steps that we need to follow? There are 4 proven steps, and I would like to share them with you. First, have an aim in life before the age of 20. Second, work hard towards that aim. Third, acquire knowledge continuously during the quest. And fourth, learn to persevere against the odds and succeed. So according to him, there are 4 steps that each one of us should follow if we want to become successful in life. First, he said, we all should have an aim in life before the age of 20. So by the time we reach 20, we all should be very clear with what we wish to become in future. Second, we have to work very hard towards achieving that aim. Third, acquire knowledge continuously during the quest. Now, what do we mean by quest? Quest means your journey basically. Your journey in which you are searching for your distinction, the journey in which you are searching for your own, your reason to become successful. You're searching for a new identity, a personality that you want to see of your own self. So according to him, the third thing that we should do is to acquire knowledge. Acquire means to gain. We have to decide what we want to become. We have to work very hard in order to achieve that. Third, we need to gain as much knowledge as we can while we are moving towards our ambition. And last, learn to persevere against the odds and succeed. Persevere means to have that determination, to have that willpower that no matter what odds means what difficulties you might come across on your journey to success, you have to use all your willpower, you have to use all your strength and confidence to work against all the negativities and become successful in life. Achievement comes from the fire of the strong subconscious mind that says, I will win. Always remember, education gives you wings to fly. So each one of you must let your education shape your wings of fire. Your wings of fire will lead you to great achievements in your life and your career. think to yourself, I will win and you will fly. So he said that achievement, if you want to achieve something in life, in order to achieve something, you have to be, your subconscious mind. What do we mean by the subconscious mind? Deep inside our mind, we should be clear with the fact that no matter what difficulties I come across, I am going to cross them all and win. I will win no matter what the circumstances be. This is something that you need to remind yourself again and again. He says that you have to remember that education gives you wings to fly. We can only fly high, we can only achieve whatever we want to when we are educated. So each one of you must let your education shape your wings of fire. He said that each one of us should be so educated in life that we have those wings of fire. We have that urge in ourselves. We have that determination, motivation in ourselves that against all the problems that we come across, we are going to win. He said that your wings of fire will lead you to great achievements and your career. It is only when you are educated will you have those wings that will take you far off. And once you get those wings, you are certain to achieve whatever you want to and get a career of your choice. Think of yourself, he said, that just keep on reminding yourself, I will win and you will fly. So this is what he wishes to tell the youth when he gives the heading, Wings to Fly. So in this, he talks about the importance of education, which will give us the wings to fly as high as we wish to and will ensure that we achieve whatever we want in our lives. The second, part that we are going to read about is about the unique achievers. Now, as the name suggests, unique means somebody who thinks out of the box. People who did not follow the crowd, rather they made their own way. So in this we are going to read about some very famous people who thought out of the box, who had the power to work hard and ended up achieving something which is still remembered by the people because it is so important and valuable for our lives. So he says, when I see the youth of today with their dreams to achieve great things, I am reminded of a few unique achievers who dreamt like you and achieved great things in life. Who are these people? What can you learn from them? How can you become unique achievers like them? Let us study a few of them and their contributions. So he says that when Dr. Abdul Kalam said that whenever he would meet the youth of the country and he would get to know about their dreams, about their aspirations to achieve big things, he says that he was always reminded of those achievers who were very unique, who were very special, who dreamt just like us and they achieved great things in their lives. He says, who are these people and what can you learn from these people? How can you become unique achievers like them? What should you do so that you become unique like them? So he says we are going to, he actually told the students about a few of those unique achievers and what their contributions, how did they contribute in the development of the country. Dear friends, look up. What do you see? The light, the electric bulb. Immediately our thoughts go to the inventor. Who was he? Yes, it is Thomas Alva Edison. What a unique contribution he has made to the electrical lighting system. So he talks about first the discovery of bulb. He says, just look up. What do you see? Each one of us has light in the room where we sit or we sleep. So he says we are going to look at the electric bulb. And who was the inventor of electric bulb? Thomas Alva Edison. He says that he was such a great personality and his contribution to the electrical lighting system was equally great, and it is still used and will always be used by the generations yet to come. Next, when you hear the sound of an aeroplane going over your house, whom do you think of? Yes, the Wright brothers proved that man could fly. Of course, at heavy risk and cost, but they did it. So, he then tells us, first he talked about the presence of an electricity bulb. He next says that when you hear the sound of an aeroplane flying over your house, who do you remember? So, the aeroplane was invented by the Wright brothers. And it was their belief that man could fly. Yes, the risk of flying into the air was very high. The cost of flying into the air was very high. But despite that, they literally gave wings to the people and people could fly in the sky. Okay. Whom does the telephone remind you of? Of course, the one and only Alexander Graham Bell. So when we talk about the telephone, it was discovered by none other than Alexander Graham Bell. He says when everybody considered sea travel a tough experience, one unique person thought otherwise. During his long voyage from the United Kingdom to India, he thought of many questions. He pondered about why the horizon, where the sky and the sea meet, looks blue. He began to research. His research resulted in the phenomena of scattering of light. He was our very own Sir C.V. Raman, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize for his work. Further, he says that everybody, in the initial days, according to the people, the sea travel was very tough. It was very difficult to travel by sea. But there was one person who thought otherwise, who had some other opinions, who had some other views going on in his mind. This person underwent a voyage. Voyage means a journey. Okay, a journey which is taken place via sea. So this man went on a sea journey from United Kingdom to India. And on his journey back from UK to India, there were a lot of questions that came to his mind. He pondered about why the horizon. Pondering means to think about something. Horizon. What is the horizon? Horizon is that part wherein the sky and the land meet. If you go to a place which has water for as far as you can see, you will see actually that the sky is setting, the sky is meeting the land. This is known as the horizon. So this man, he was wondering why the horizon was blue. Then he started researching about it. And after his research, he got to know that it was because of the phenomena which is known as scattering of light. Okay. It was only because of this research that Sir C.V. Raman, who was an Indian researcher, he got the Nobel Prize for his work. He further continues by saying, I am sure you know a famous Indian mathematician who did not have formal higher education but had an inexhaustible spirit and love for mathematics. His contributions to the treasure houses of mathematical research are still under serious study and engage international minds even today. He was a unique Indian genius who melted the heart of the tough and outstanding Cambridge mathematician, Professor G.H. Hardy. In fact, it is not an exaggeration to say that Professor Hardy discovered this great mathematician for the world. This mathematician was none other than Srinivasa Ramanujan, for whom every number was a divine manifestation. So, next he talks about an Indian mathematician who did not have any formal education. Okay, he did never go to a school or a college or a university. But he had inexhaustible spirit and love for mathematics. Inexhaustible means something which can never get tired. Okay, something which can never ever get tired, that is inexhaustible. So this man, he never went to school, he never went to a university to get knowledge, but he had love and spirit, for mathematics. A spirit so strong that he would never get tired of learning. His contributions to the treasure houses of mathematical research. Okay, so whatever mathematical research this man has done, all those mathematical researches have contributed a great deal, and even today, people who study, people who engage in research, each one of them remembers what this man had researched about, what this man had discovered about. He was an Indian genius who was very unique. And he was such a brilliant person that because of his intelligence, because of his brilliance, he melted the heart of an outstanding Cambridge professor, mathematician, Professor G.H. Hardy. So what does this mean? This simply means that this man, this Indian whom we are talking about, this Indian was very he was such a brilliant man, he was just such a prodigy, he was so intelligent that this Cambridge mathematician, Professor G.H. Hardy, even he got convinced by the fact that this Indian was even smarter than him. Professor and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he tells us that it is not an exaggeration to say. Exaggeration means when you say something, when you talk about something, with a lot of facts and things added to it. For example, if I say that there is a girl who's beautiful. So here I am describing the girl by using the word beautiful, which is a very simple term. On the other hand, if I say that this girl is like a swan who is as beautiful as you can imagine, her hair are like this and so on and so forth. If I just continue to describe about this girl, this would be an exaggeration, something which is done over the top. Okay, something that could have achieved by simply stating the word beautiful. But rather than simply using the word beautiful, we are adding more and more details to it. So, APJ Abdul Kalam sir says that I am not going to exaggerate when I say that it was Professor G.H. Hardy who actually discovered this great mathematician. And who are we talking about? We are talking about none other than Srinivasa Ramanujan. For Srinivasa Ramanujan, every number was a divine manifestation. Divine means something which is related to God, something which has got heavenly connections. So for Ramanujan sir, number meant something which connected him to God. It was a manifestation, it was a discovery, it was something that always made him feel very pure. It was, the same kind of happiness that one derives from, let's say, meditation or praying to God. For him, the same peace, the same calm, the same happiness could be derived by numbers. So, such was the great personality, Ramanujan. Who was the Indian scientist famous for the Chandra limit? Chandra limit describes the maximum mass of a white dwarf star, or equivalently, the minimum mass for which a star will ultimately collapse into a neutron star to black hole following a supernova. It is the Nobel laureate Chandrasekhar Subramanian. He further talks about the very famous Chandra limit. He asks us the name of that Indian scientist who was the reason for Chandra limit, who was the one who actually brought to the fore, who told everybody about this Chandra limit. Now, Chandra limit describes that the maximum mass is weight, of a white dwarf star, dwarf very small. So, according to Chandra limit, the mass, the weight of a white star, or equivalently the minimum mass for which a star will ultimately collapse into a neutron star to black hole following a supernova. So he talked about the fact that the maximum mass of this star, of this white dwarf star, was equal to the minimum mass which a star needs to have in order to collapse into a supernova, in order to become a supernova. So this is what the Chandra limit talks about, and this mass and the fact that the two masses are equal is actually done by Chandrasekhar Subramanian. Okay. Another unique achiever was a great lady of science who discovered radium. She won not only one but 2 Nobel Prizes, one for physics and another for chemistry. Who was she? Yes, she was none other than Madame Curie. Madame Curie discovered radium while she was doing research on the effect of radiation on human system. The same radiation which she discovered affected her, and she sacrificed her life while trying to remove human pain and suffering. So last but not the least, Sir APJ Abdul Kalam talks to us about a great lady who discovered what? Radium. She won 2 Nobel Prizes, one for physics and one for chemistry. And who was this lady who won 2 Nobel Prizes? And she was Madame Curie. Sir APJ Abdul Kalam tells us that Madame Curie discovered radium while she was doing a research on the effect of radiation on human system. So what effect does radiation have on human system? She was trying to figure that out when she discovered radium. Now this radiation which she discovered, this affected her. This made her sick. This made her ill. And she sacrificed her life because she herself was suffering a great deal. But at the same time, she was trying to find out a cure so that no other person can feel that pain and can go through that suffering. So such was the greatness of this lady. Okay. Unique you is what the next head says. Whenever I described great scientific inventions from the history of science, you all reacted at once. Each scientist or technologist who was responsible for the invention was a unique personality. Dear friends, can you join such unique achievers of scientific history? You can. So Sir APJ Abdul Kalam says that when I was discussing with you all these great inventions, how did the science, develop, the history of science, each one of you had a reaction of awe on your faces. You all were surprised, you all were proud at the same time. He says every scientist, every technologist who is responsible for the inventions that we have talked about had a unique personality, had something special in them. So he asked all the Indian students sitting in front of him that, dear students, do you think you also can become a part of these people? Do you think you also have something unique in yourself that can make you stand out in the crowd? Then that can make you, remembered by the people in the future generations? And he said, yes, you can. I know how talented you all are. I have so far met 18 million youth in a decade's time. I have found that every youth, just like you, wants to be unique. But the world all around is doing its best, day and night, to make them just like everybody else. He tells the people that in a decade's time, decade means in the past 10 years, I have met over 18 million youth. All those youth, just like you, they want to be unique, they want to be special, they want to be distinguished. And the problem arises when the world around them is not letting them become one and is reminding them that you are just like the others. So the problem with these people is they know how unique, they know how special, they know how talented they are. But it is only because of the world that they are not able to realize their true caliber. At home, you are asked by your parents to be like the neighbor's children and score good marks. When you go to school, your teacher asks, why don't you become one of the first 5 rankers in the class? Wherever you go, they are saying, you have to be somebody else or everybody else. So he says that at home, we always hear our parents comparing us to the neighbor's children, telling us that they scored better than us. When we go to the school, our teachers also ask us that why don't you become the one of the first 5 rankers in the class? Everybody cannot come in the first 5 rank. That is meant for people who score the highest. So, Sir APJ Abdul Kalam says that every teacher wants her or his children, his or her students, to get the best possible position in class. But he says that wherever you go, no matter, every person will tell you to either become somebody else or everybody else. To become somebody else means when you are compared to others, you are required to work like them. You are required to hard work like them. You are required to get your marks like them. So either you become like that person or you become everybody else. Everybody else means they feel that if you are not going to match up to the expectations set by your parents and your teachers, you are going to get lost in the crowd. There would be nobody who would be able to recognize you, who would be able to know about you. Would you like that? Or would you like to be unique in yourself? So he asks us, would you want that? Would you want that people should just forget about you once you are off this world? Or do you want to do something unique for which you are remembered? The challenge is that you have to fight the hardest battle any human being can ever imagine. And never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is a unique you. So he further says that, we come across this challenge where the people want us to change, where the people want us to become like the others. But at that time, we have to remember that yes, it is very difficult, but still, despite that, we have to never stop fighting. We always have to prove our mettle. We always have to continue to prove how brilliant and smart and intelligent we are until we realize that we are unique in ourselves, until we realize that we have achieved what we wanted, and this is how you are unique. This is how you are special. The challenge is that you have to fight the hardest battle any human being can ever imagine, as I told you. So this is the challenge that each one of us faces in life. We all want to be high achievers, great achievers, but this journey of becoming one, this journey of being remembered by people is a very hard journey. You can either be pulled back by the crowd, or you can push the crowd and make your way to the top. The choice is yours. So with this, on this note, my dear students, I'm going to pause. We are going to continue with the same chapter and discuss the back exercises of chapter number 3 in our next video. So I will see you all now in my next lecture. Thank you.